Okay, I just got my hands on Samsung's latest Galaxy A57. Let's talk about it. About 2 weeks ago, Samsung announced the latest devices in their A series lineup, the A57 and A37, intended as the upgrades for the A36 and A56. But right now, it is globally available and can be purchased from retail outlets. With the Galaxy A57, Samsung did more of a refinement to the design. It still looks like the same phone, but it's now lighter, it is slimmer, and the bezels finally are thinner, making it look and feel just a bit more premium. But underneath, it's mostly the same phone because nothing much has changed in the entire specifications. Now, this is usually the part where you'll expect me to complain about how Samsung has not made major improvements in the Galaxy A series, especially the A50 series, over the last couple of generations, or how for the same price or less you find better spec devices from the likes of Xiaomi, Infinix, Tecno, Poco. But I've come to a realization that they don't really have to do much to compete with other brands in this segment. They've got consistency going for them. The A57 is actually not a very different device from the A56. Aside the design refinements, the build quality has remained the same. The specifications has mostly remained the same except for an improvement to the processor, the Exynos 1680, which is not a significant upgrade over the 1580, but it's an upgrade. And then this time we have the base version coming with 8 gigs of RAM compared to last year where we had 6 gig option. Plus the price has gone up a bit. Then IP rating has been improved from IP67 to IP68. So one thing I find funny about the price increase of the Galaxy A57 is the fact that right now you can get a Galaxy S25 FE for around the same price or just a little more, about $20 or $30 more. The S25 FE is currently retailing on Amazon for around $550, which puts the A57 in a tricky position because the S25 FE is much closer to flagship. It has the flagship Exynos 2400. You're going to get flagship software, including Galaxy AI, the complete suite, I think. It also has a much better camera system, a dedicated telephoto lens. You get a macro on the A57. So yeah, there's that. This video is currently being filmed on the selfie camera of the A57, by the way, 4K 30 FPS. It looks good. I have an external mic connected, so because it's quite noisy here. So I'm attending a friend's wedding, currently filming this from my hotel room, but this is going to be an opportunity to check out its cameras since it's basically the same cameras. There's probably going to be a slight difference in the processing due to the new and improved processor, but I'm actually going to put up shots from these two. The A57 comes in some cool colors. I've got the awesome icy blue, there's a lilac, there's navy, and I think there is gray. I think the icy blue and the lilac one looks cool, especially because of the colors on the camera bump, which seems to now be made of plastic compared to the metallic material we had on the A56. There is no unboxing experience to speak of, so you know you just get the phone and the cable. Nothing much has changed with the spots and buttons, but on the bottom frame you'll notice there's one less mic port compared to 2 that we had on the A56. The overall build quality and design is mostly the same. The A57 is just a more refined version of the A56. Not much of an upgrade, but if you are coming from say an A55 or A54, you will find it a good upgrade. And I also like the fact that the base version now comes with 8 gigs of RAM compared to 6 that we had on the previous model. For a first impression or hands-on experience, I'm going to say it's not much different from the experience you get with the A56, except for the improvements to the software. This comes with One UI 8.5 and will get 1 more year of software support. The display still has great quality, 120Hz Super AMOLED, and it is still protected with Corning Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. I barely used it for up to 2 days as at the time I'm recording this video, but so far I'll say compared to the experience I had with the A56, the software is a bit more consistent. There's less of those subtle lags, but then most of the other software features and AI features are still the same as its predecessor, which of course will still get One UI 8.5 in the not too distant future. One UI still remains one of the most interesting software you find on any Android phones. There's a lot of customization options. Multitasking is also solid. Now, while it's mostly the same software as you get on the flagship Galaxy S26 series, you are not going to be getting features like Now Brief or some of the advanced AI features like Audio Eraser. But you still get Object Eraser, Best Face, and some of the other features from the Galaxy A56. Although there's a new addition, and that is voice transcription, which allows you to transcribe and translate voice and call recordings. This is currently not available on the A56. Plus the improved Bixby. Perplexity also comes pre-installed here. Since this is just a hands-on and more like a quick rundown review, I will not be able to give you much detail about its processor performance, but the Exynos 1680 is an upgrade to the 1580, but from the benchmark scores, it's not by a huge margin. And you can also tell that it's not the fastest processor at this price point, but it's something that gets the job done, and you can't exactly call it average. For the cameras, nothing has changed, not on the selfie, not on the rear camera. Samsung still refuses to put a telephoto camera on the Galaxy A57 for reasons best known to them. In the battery department, just like with its predecessor, we have 5000 mAh battery and then 45 watts fast charging. Still not the biggest battery you'll find, but I believe it will take you through a day of use. If I'm going to give a summary of how the A57 is so far, I like the design refinements. I like that it feels a bit more premium. While I've not used this long enough to give a proper verdict, I can say from what I can see so far, if you want a safe option, something reliable, something that just works, the cameras do great, the software is right up there, and you get long-term support, you can go for the Galaxy A57. But if you want something more exciting, something more powerful, you probably want to look at options like the Nothing Phone 4a Pro or Poco X8 Pro. I don't doubt that the Exynos 1680 will do just fine on the Galaxy A57. It's just that at this price point, you can find more powerful options. But then, the entire package is what makes the phone. The hardware, the software, the processor, everything is just balanced. With the way Samsung is going with the A series, you'd think they're very comfortable, which they actually are. They've got consistency going for them, good software support, and people will buy them for the same reason they keep buying iPhones: familiarity, trust. Now, does that mean the lack of significant improvements over the previous generation makes it not a good enough phone? Actually, it's a really decent phone. It checks most of the boxes for a phone in its price range, but it's more the safe option. It's reliable, but you're not getting the top performance for its price when you have the likes of the Poco X8 Pro, which is more affordable and has a way more powerful processor. So that is my quick review of the Samsung Galaxy A57. I'm going to use it more and give you a more detailed review and also compare it in detail to the A56 and probably other options like the Poco X8 Pro. Do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that video and other videos. Of course, I'll be reviewing the A37. If there's anything you'd like to see in the more detailed review, do leave it in the comments. Catch you in the next one.